Moving on, the U.S. State Department is calling on American lawmakers to stop imposing new sanctions on Iran amid the federal government shutdown. Here's a closer look.
The chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, who's known as one of the architects of anti-Iran sanctions, says some American lawmakers are moving forward on new U.S. sanctions against Iran over its nuclear energy program.
Some of us are moving forward with a new round of sanctions that will require further reduction in purchases of Iranian petroleum.
However, the partial government shutdown in the U.S. has hampered the efforts of the hawkish American lawmakers to impose new sanctions on Iran.
We will continue to enforce them with one caveat, that the shutdown does make it more difficult for us to do so because we do not have OFAC, we do not have our full intelligence committee. The State Department is putting restrictions on travel by State Department employees, and we use our sanctions team to travel the world to go after sanctions evaders and looking ahead to the Geneva Conference on Syria. And the action by this committee.
Iran and the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council plus Germany are expected to hold talks in Geneva in mid-October.
Now, I spoke on the phone with President Rouhani of the Islamic Republic of Iran.
This comes after U.S. President Barack Obama and his Iranian counterpart Hassan Rouhani held a 15-minute telephone conversation in the first direct talks between Tehran and Washington in 34 years.
Going forward, President Rouhani and I have directed our teams to continue working.
Obama and Rouhani expressed confidence that their countries could reach a peaceful settlement of the standoff over Tehran's nuclear energy program. However, the fast pace of developments has angered Israel, which thrives on decades-long hostilities between Iran and the United States.
When it comes to Iran's nuclear weapons program, I've argued for many years, including on this podium, that the only way to peacefully prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons is to combine tough sanctions with a credible military threat. And that policy today is bearing.
Iran says Tel Aviv, which is the sole possessor of nuclear weapons in the Middle East, has been repeating the same allegations over and over again for many years now.
Mr. Netanyahu and his colleagues have been saying since 1991, and you can refer to your records, that Iran is 6 months away from nuclear weapons. And we are, how many years? 22 years after that. And they are still saying we are 6 months away from nuclear weapons.
Tehran said it's open to dialogue and transparency to resolve the Western dispute over its nuclear energy program, which is already under the supervision of the International Atomic Energy Agency. Iran is also calling for a global wave which stands for a world against violence and extremism. That is a world without wars and weapons of mass destruction, and a world where voices of reason are heard much louder than radical screams.